This only my question only deals with public comment, agenda items only. Is there a time limit on that? On the agenda items only part?
We generally like to try to keep them to 3 minutes for orderly progress.
Okay, well, I didn't
commissioners have
know
been
because
generally-
Jay David would let you, on those, he would let you, because it was like, if it was in the agenda, which I don't see.
Well,
If the commissioners have
Don't
been
make any
generally,
sense, we'll let you.
they've
go.
been generous. with
We don't
that.
want filibusters, but if you're. if it's
Well, you know, I
intelligent-
sometimes make sense. And sometimes, look, that man right there, he'll tell me when to stop.
No, right. I thought you were gonna say sometimes.
No, you know, right? Look, I'm not here to be a dick. I'm here to speak what I think needs to be spoken. I'm gonna speak.
Tammy will be calling too, Scott.
Still get you.
Hello, who that?
Hey, you got Mike from HR.
I'm Mike.
Hey.
Okay, good morning, it's 10 a.m. We ask you to please rise and open prayer and pledge of allegiance. Before we convene the Commissioner public meeting. Heavenly Father, we praise you for this February day that we can gather together and have discussions and reach decisions. We want to be in accordance with your will. Our prayer today is that you will instruct us and give us wisdom to lead us towards the best possible outcome. We ask you to give us the humility to seek your wisdom, above our limited knowledge, and courage to follow where you lead us. Grateful for your faithful presence in our lives. And Lord, we recognize and we're thankful for several significant developments that have taken place in Lycoming County during the month of February over the years. February 1786, formation of Wellsock Township was formed from the portion of Muncie Township above Wellsock Creek. In February 1818, a new registrar recorder and clerk of the Orphans Court was appointed and managed administrative records. And in February 1878, the creation of McNett Township was established as the most northern township in the county. We're thankful for these developments as they've helped mold and make Lycoming County better today. Lord, on Sunday, we'll recognize the National Boy Scout Day. For 116 years, Scouts across our great land have been learning life skills and doing many good deeds on developing the moral foundations to be a success. Many presidents and other dignities have been Scouts, including 181 astronauts. We thank you for the Scouts, the leaders, and the parents that take all their time to make sacrifices for the youth. Now may your hand be upon us throughout the meeting this day. These things we humbly bring to you in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good morning. Convening Commission public meeting at this time. Ask for approval of minutes of the previous meeting.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 You say Loyalsock Township was founded in the 17th.
Yes.
I would not have guessed that.
1786. Mr. Sortman remembers.
I do remember.
He was, did you vote on that? How did you vote?
No public comment on agenda items only at this time. We'll move on to reports. 1 second, Vivian online?
Nothing online.
Okay, thank you. Morning, Nikki.
Good morning. Presented for your ratification are invoices due through February 11th, 2026 to be paid on February 4th, 2026 in the amount of $512,012.95, 66.81% out of the general fund, 5.67% out of RMS, and 27.53% out of escrow.
Okay. We keep the totals that low each week?
I wish.
All right, a motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye. Thank you. Okay, we'll recess the Commissioners' Public Meeting at this time for the Salary Board and Community Salary Board.
I wondered where you were going.
Okay. Okay, first item I have is to vote to approve the salary board minutes from the January, that would be January 20 something meeting. Last week's meeting.
Last week. I'll
January 29th.
29.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
And motion to, we have a second. All fair side?
Aye.
Okay, the first item I have there is from the district attorney's office, add a part-time central processing officer to the TDA, and that is funded from Act 81.
And we have the district attorney here this morning. Any comments?
The court is realizing,
Tom, could you speak up a little bit because of the camera?
yes. Well, we're still way behind in having people fingerprint.
Okay.
By the tune of about 400 people. Court asked us if we would bring back at least one of those individuals that were laid off temporarily or whatever it was. We start having people, once they get to the courthouse and are ordered to have fingerprinting done, and Tommy needs another person to help do that because he can explain not only doing it during hours, business hours, but weekends.
Okay.
I think it's right
Tom.
on that.
Yeah, currently the processing center,
Tom, you just say your name.
Thomas Ungar, Chief County Detective
Okay,
in the
thank you.
District Attorney's Office.
Great, thank you.
I basically oversee the processing center. I have Detective Cox, who does day-to-day operations. He's being inundated with requests because there's some new policies put in place by Judge Linhart. They're sending people over on arraignment days and guilty plea days that have not been fingerprinted. They're sending them directly over there. There have been requests from the district magistrates. The summonses, the less serious crimes that are sent out through the mail. A lot of those people don't want to miss work in order to go get fingerprinted. I understand the concern. So they're asking if we could accommodate by giving some evening hours, staying open after 5 o'clock and perhaps even do Saturday. With the current manpower, we can't do that. So we're asking to have one of those TDAs filled at this time. I may be back asking for another depending on what happens, but trying to fill a need right now to get these people processed in a timely fashion. It's a big deal because if they get past, once they plead guilty in their sentence, we lose our teeth, especially if it's a time served type thing or no probation. We lose our teeth and their offense is never documented and it's not there for future offenses that they would be. So we need, it's a big deal to do.
I'm glad you pointed that out because it affects the prior record scores. They're arrested in the future.
Certainly.
Plus, we're at the lower end of the list across the state for having people up to date fingerprint.
And this will not affect the taxpayers. It is Act 81 money that is totally reimbursed. There is enough money coming in. Each person is assessed a fee when they are fingerprinted throughout the county. And this will be reimbursed to the county, those monies for the salary for this position. So we're currently way below budget for that. Bringing in more money, spending on salaries. So it should not affect the taxpayers at all.
Great, thank you.
Like the land.
So the district attorney is elected position, so Mr. Marino has the right to vote on this issue also. Okay, so is there a motion?
Yeah.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Okay, 5-0. Thank you.
In DPS, delete the EMS clerk 4, pay grade 5 from position from the TDA. And then add an emergency management administrative coordinator, pay grade 6 position to the TDA. That is grant funded 50% from EMA and 50% from EMS.
And if I can add to that for you guys as well, the position that's being eliminated, it's actually just being merged with a secondary position. There were two positions, one for EMA, one for EMS. And we decided to combine those two. So they would be servicing both departments.
Thank you. Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye. In planning and community development, delete development services supervisor position from the TDA, delete the community and economic development position from the TDA, and delete the zoning administrator position from the TDA. Those are all open positions.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
This time we'll adjourn the salary board. Commissioner public meeting for personnel actions.
Good morning. Following personnel actions and conditional offers of employment, subject to the successful completion of background check and all of the employment conditions outlined here in attachment A. Facilities management, Nathan Tucker, construction supervisor, pay grade 9, 36.3322, 69 cents per hour at 75 hours per pay period. This is an effective date, February 1st, 2026. In the pre-release center, Tracy Canfield, resident supervisor, part-time, union at $19.20 per hour. This is not to exceed 1,000 hours annually. Effective date, February 1, 2026. Also in the pre-release center, Holly Little, resident supervisor, full-time, union at $19.20 per hour, 80 hours per pay period. Effective date for this is February 9th, 2026. In the prison, Robert Samso, correctional officer, full-time, union at $20 per hour, 80 hours per pay period. Effective date February 16th, 2026. And wrapping up here in the prison, Evan Bloom, correctional officer, full-time, union at $20 per hour, 80 hours per pay period with an effective date of March 2nd, 2026.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Morning, Brooke. It's time we'll recess Commissioners' Public Meeting for the Board of Assessments revisions. Need the Board of Assessments revisions at this time.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I am seeking your approval for 4 real estate refunds. The first one is for Daryl and Tanya Lovell. Your home was destroyed by fire. I know my voice is still sounding awful. as I
Better though.
continue to
It's
talk.
better.
It is better. At least you can hear me. So this is for Daryl and Tanya Lovell. Their home was destroyed by fire on October 29th, 2025. The refund amount is $125.80. You want to vote on that one?
Yes, please. Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
All right. Now, the next 3 are all part of a real estate appeal that went to court and it was settled through a court order. So the first one is for Geisinger in the amount of $86.31.
Motion to accept.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
The second one is again for Geisinger, $140.24.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye.
The third one again is for Geisinger at $11,329.70.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
I do want to make a comment about Geisinger because you're probably wondering why they're paying taxes. They are renting out the building, so they are not tax exempt. So that is the reason why they are paying taxes on these 3 properties.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, we'll adjourn the Board of Assessments revisions and we'll reconvene the Commissioners' Public Meeting. Okay. We have Tammy on the phone. And Shannon, want to handle those too?
Sure. Action item 6.1, vote to approve the agreement with Brandon Lusk.
It's has to do with the GED program. So, PD program at the prison and PRC.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye.
Okay, action item 6.2, vote to approve the agreement with Allison Calhoun. These are for professional services.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Okay, Adrian. Morning.
Morning. This is going to be very redundant.
I was gonna say, you got a bunch.
Would we be allowed to roll them all together, Mr. Kenyon, or no?
Yeah, I'm okay with that, just based on their essential related renewals.
Yeah, they're all to provide legal representation as needed when the Public Defender's Office has a conflict. The hourly rate's all the same, $90 per hour, and they're all approved budgeted items. So 6.3 is with Attorney Tricia Hoover. 6.4 is with Attorney Tara Koenig. 6.5 is with Attorney Peter Lavecchio. 6.6 is with Attorney Donald Martino. 6.7 is with Attorney K. Michael Sullivan. Item 6.8 is with Attorney Eric Williams. And item 6.9 is with Attorney Jamie Cook.
Okay, if your motion to accept action, item 6.3 through 6.9, I'd say slaves a whole.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Yeah, that was handled very
There you go.
efficiently.
Thank you.
And I'll be back again next week. Maybe we can do the same. Have a good day.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thanks, Adrian. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
Last question.
Yes.
Sure.
Trying to zero in and I'm getting several different numbers. How many conflict attorneys does a public defender's office have?
So the Public Defender's Office does not contract with conflict attorneys. So the public,
Still, the public defender's office uses these contract attorneys.
yeah, I can explain what I know, even though I don't oversee that office.
I understand.
So Nicole Spring would, but I'll just share what my understanding is. Keep in mind, it might not be completely accurate. So the Public Defender's Office has a set of assistant public defenders. When that office has a conflict, they refer it to court administration to appoint what we refer to as a conflict attorney. This is one of approximately 19 to 20 conflict attorneys we have. My understanding is when the PD's office has been understaffed in the past, that they have contracted with attorneys to handle cases for them, not conflict cases, but cases that it's their responsibility to handle. And then the PD's office has paid those attorneys. That has nothing to do with the courts or our budget, the court's budget. Any other questions?
So are you saying that at any time, the public defender's office feels the need that they need more attorneys, they can go ahead and hire other public defenders?
That question is not appropriately directed to me. I don't control the county's budget or the public defender's office's budget. Again, maybe this is a conversation that you want to have with Nicole. Maybe she could better explain how their office handles those matters, but I defer to the commissioners if that's not
I mean,
appropriate.
are you just wondering how big of a stable of these conflict attorneys we have?
I mean, I know because I deal with them all the time, conflict attorneys. They're always in my office, just like public defenders when we're trying to resolve cases.
Tom, if anybody would be hired to the public defender's office as a assistant public defender, they would have to go through the salary board. And then they'd be placed on the agenda to be voted on. Regarding the contracts separately, that's something you need to speak to Nikki or Nicole about.
And the contract database lists contracts by departments. You're welcome to pull up the public defender's office and you can see what attorneys they have contracted with. But if I were you, I would just have a conversation with Nicole.
Because I know all of them, but the bottom line is Public Defender's Office has, 4 conflict attorneys in addition to their staff, which is, it's 8 or 9 attorneys. I have 4, 5, 6, 7 counting Martin and myself. Doing homicide trials, we're doing sentencings, we're doing briefs, we're doing the whole 9 yards. We have short staff. Cannot get people to apply for a full-time position. And as a result, we are now, my staff is averaging, 3 of them are averaging between 350 and 500 cases. And another one who is rapidly coming up using, trying to take care of more cases, as Martin and I do. So at some point, very soon, I need to sit down with commissioners, and we need help. It's the fact that we're not getting people to apply. I have talked to several district attorneys in other counties who work under the same premise. And there are several people in those counties that are contacted that said if we could get this moved into a position, that they will travel here to Lycoming County to help us prosecute cases.
You have open positions. Sounds like the problem is people aren't applying.
We have 2 open positions, but in addition to that, in conjunction with what the Public Defender's Office has, and what we have to try all the cases. Public defender, with no disrespect to them, Nikki and I talk about this all the time. They don't try all the cases per se. My staff that's full-time, with the Martin and I being handling cases also, we have to do this full-time.
So basically, what I think you're saying is when they're overwhelmed, they can go to outside attorneys for help.
I would like to make a correction. So my understanding is when they've been short-staffed in the past, they've contracted with attorneys. My understanding is they're fully staffed now. Possibly they're not reaching out and contracting with attorneys because they're fully staffed. Granted, if they had reached out in the past because they were down 1 or more assistant public defenders, the person they contracted with would have to continue with that case. But I mean, we're making the assumption that they're continuing to contract with attorneys when they're fully staffed to handle their caseloads. So again, maybe this conversation isn't timely right now.
Full staff of permanent public defenders, in addition to numerous, at least 4 so-called conflict attorneys.
To handle cases that they've already been appointed to.
I guess the question is, as an observer, is the same process over to the district attorney?
That's what I was wondering. Were you asking, can you have a stable that you can reach into when you're overwhelmed?
No,
You're not allowed to do that?
I'm not saying we're not allowed to do it, but
That's
the question.
Say to you folks, we do need
I-
those people.
I think the appropriate way to handle this is to coordinate a meeting and have a discussion with all of the different departments on what the needs are. Public meeting is not just, especially since all parties aren't here.
And this is also not an agenda item.
Right.
These true conflict attorneys have nothing to do with the PD's office being overwhelmed, underwhelmed, nor the DA's office.
Okay. Yeah, we get that.
And Tom, the situation is, and you're not doing a department that has postings that people aren't applying for. You know, the sheriff, they gave him 5 extra deputies to man the magistrate offices. They're still down 1. That was put in place, I think, 3 years ago. So it's a situation that's affecting other departments too.
I don't determine how
Yeah.
it would, public defender's office, who conflicts and who doesn't, that's none of my business.
Right.
My position is, there are still 4 additional so-called public defenders that are over and above as to what I have. Since I can get at this point, people to come on board for at least 2 open positions, I need to have the access in a sense that the public defender's office has. So again, we do all of the cases.
Again, I think the appropriate way to handle this is to sit down, see what the needs are, what the potential solutions are to those problems, and then bring solutions that need to be approved here to public meeting in the future.
I think your first conversation should be with Nicole.
Wow.
Nicole and I have had those discussions.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right.
She knows where we're coming from.
Okay.
I would just caution reviewing one department conforming to the other. I think the DA's
I mean, basically,
issue
he's
is
saying,
manpower and figuring out how to get that manpower and alternative means of getting it when they can't get people to employ, which is an employment issue, not a I mean, it's a manpower issue, but it's
Right.
the employability of people versus,
yeah, and it's happened with other departments.
Correct.
People are not applying to positions. Fortunately, it's affecting you, it's affecting other departments.
But we're unique. But with all the caseload that we have, 500 plus, my attorneys are swamped. I don't have someone that I can make a determination on. Kid, we need help. Can't hire full times. We can't even get one or two to come in, let alone try and get 3 or 4 more. But it would be a big help if we were able to. I talked to 2 local attorneys that used to do district attorney work, would be more than glad to come in money to help us get through our caseload.
yeah, we should meet and discuss it.
My
Absolutely.
dismiss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again.
Yep, have a good day. Okay, moving on then, 6.10, Leslie.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Director. 6.10, Commissioners, we're seeking your approval to renew a contract with Keyser Consulting Group in the amount of $6,900. This is to renew our Polycom support. Polycom's used within the court system and at the prison. And this is a 2026 approved budget.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye.
6.11, seeking your approval to renew a cybersecurity service with CCAP in the amount of $9,500. This is also a 2026 approved budgeted item.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thanks.
Morning, Cam.
Good morning. Item 6.12, vote to approve an amendment to the agreement with Advanced Communication Solutions. It is a 26 approved budgeted item. This is essentially a contract to lock labor rates for the prison camera systems if their services are needed above and beyond our department and IS department capabilities.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All fair side? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anna?
Okay, action item 6.13, vote to approve the engagement letter with Gerio Agency in the amount of $5,000. This is a 2026 approved budgeted item, and this is for professional services for appraisal of the transfer station.
Okay, I believe it's the property next to the transfer station,
Correct.
which was formerly owned by the college. We're looking at possibly getting this appraised and sold in the future. Okay, motion to accept.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
On fair side?
Aye.
Okay, action item 6.14, vote to approve the intergovernmental agreement and MOU with the Williamsport Redevelopment Authority, City of Williamsport, and the Williamsport Area School District. This is a blighted property agreement, so while under the control of the Redevelopment Authority, blighted properties will not have to pay taxes. They would be tax exempt.
Okay, motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
There are further questions or comments? On fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Vicky,
The first item I have there is to vote to approve all classified and legal advertising expenses with the Sun Gazette for the year of 2026. This should be done yearly.
motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, side?
Aye.
Next, I have vote to appoint Shannon Barnes as chief clerk effective 2/5/26.
Okay. Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, Shannon, congratulations. You'll be sworn in here today on that.
Got my good glasses on. Thank you.
All fair side? Aye.
The last item I have is vote to approve Shannon Barnes as program administrator of the P card program and Heather Lehman as the second administrator. And that's for the county credit card.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye.
Thank you.
I really don't have any today. Again, as you saw the votes on the TVAs, we are still continuing trying to evaluate the staff at the county. Some are direct changes that are saving us in the long run on the personnel side. Some are making adjustments to positions. So it's not all going away. It's adjustments as well. I'll make a quick comment on the blighted properties. Again, you ask a question, if you have some financial issues, do you give away tax dollars? And it's a question we have to ask ourselves. But in the long run, what the goal is that those properties take about 6 months to get cleaned up. And then once they're repaired and have better value, we will gain tax dollars out of it. So that's the ultimate goal there. And other than that, it's going to be frigid cold again this weekend. So please take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I don't really have
Okay, public comment.
Buddy, I do.
Okay, up to the podium, state your name, please.
All right, before I go on the record, everything that I'm gonna say today is fact. It's in this book. So, my name's Todd Lauer. I'm here for my public comment. I'm from Jersey Shore. I'm here to speak about what I've been seeing and hearing about the landfill. First of all, I want to say, I think that Jason Yorks is kind of being scapegoated.
Could you please refrain from using any employees, current or former employees' names?
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you could just please.
All right, yeah, I got no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll use the term. The RMS manager. I feel that it's kind of being thrown under the bus here because there's a lot more to this $27 million debt than what's being told. And I've been involved in these meetings over the last, well, it's been a while, but I was in over 275 meetings. So there's a few things here we could real quick. The past commissioners, in April 2nd, 2019, we purchased a truck, a T truck we have budgeted $130,000 for it. We purchased it at $165,900, $35,000 over budget. We had a low boy. We bought a brand new D8 dozer from Caterpillar Equipment for $800,000. At the same time, we bought a brand new low boy for $70,000, and we took our old one and traded it in and got a $10,000 trade. So instead of taking our equipment, what we just purchased, and putting our driver and our employee in and driving to Harrisburg and picking our $800,000 machine up and bringing it back on our equipment, the commissioners decided it would be better to pay Cleveland Brothers $15,000 to have them haul. And we just purchased a brand new equipment to do all this stuff. I've kind of got this marked here. It's been a while since I've been in one of these meetings, so bear with me here. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. And there were comments, I had it here, I'll get to it. Okay. Had landfill impact fees. We had golf carts that we paid for, I don't know what they were, $90,000 or whatever. We've never heard anything about that. We took money and you always hear, it would always be the comments from the past commissioners. Well, there's never gonna be a cost to the taxpayers because the landfill is gonna pay for it. And that's kind of the statement I was looking for here. This Chris Kenyon guy, oh, I didn't mean to say his name. Yeah, here it is. The landfill, this is from past commissioners. The landfill will purchase the carts and the mowers if failure is imminent. Now, to me, I don't think that's right. As a taxpayer, but I do agree that something definitely needs to be done. And as far as hiring these management guys, that's okay. I don't know the Alexander guys. My brother knows them very well. I know they're competent at what they do. But why should it have even gotten this far? We have people, we have our own management teams, we have employees. This should have been taken care of it. But the bottom line falls back on the commissioners, because the commissioners, not you guys, you weren't here when all this stuff's going on, but the previous commissioners, they are the ones who approved all this stuff. They're the ones who turned the blind eye and said, yep, it's okay. Yep, we'll spend the money. Yep, spend it. Now you see where we're at. We're in debt $27 million and we spent money out of our landfill with stuff that we shouldn't even have to. And that's not even counting the past debaucheries with the $1 million that the companies didn't pay, and with the scale slips back 35 years ago. There's so many, it's just a debauchery. And when I first got involved in coming to these meetings, and I was gonna run for county commissioner, I said to Ms. Collins at the time, she said to me, why are you gonna start at the landfill? And I said, the landfill is where you start, because that's where all the money's at. And that's where all the cash is. The landfill is the number one thing that needs to be straightened up. And like I said, that's where the money's at. That's where the real money that's coming into this county is. And you don't even know how many tens of thousands of dollars a day in cash that went there that we don't even see. I mean, I've been in this. I ran roll-offs. I was involved in that when the wage slips were incorrect and they were cheating. I mean, there's been all kinds of scandals. So I'll let it go at that. I've said enough. But I'll be back next week with more.
Todd, real quick, the golf carts are separate issue. That's the golf course. Okay, that was a loan that was given to the management company to pay for those golf carts. They're paying them back. There are 8 payments. They've paid 6 of them back. Plus, they've also given us additional monies because they're doing so well to help pay down on the bond that the golf course had initially taken. So that, just address that.
Yeah, but that's been 2019 and 2020. Like I said, I haven't been here in a while. I'm just going back on stuff that.
So that was a $400,000 loan, 8 years, $50,000 a year. They paid it back. They're on payment 6. And they made a double payment this year, so they're doing great.
So that's
Okay.
the Billy Casper guy, the Chris Strand.
Right, yeah, so they're doing great. The golf course is doing very well. Regarding the $27 million in debt, those are bonds that have been taken out years ago on the landfill. Some of those are very, very good because they had to do with fields and expanding fields like
Right.
that. The concern is the life of the expanding field right now, which is our last field. Okay. We don't have enough income on that field to pay off that $27 million in debt. That's the concern. The key is the expansion. We have to get that expansion done. We got the federal property, which was purchased. It's now ours. We have to get that expansion. We have to do that within the next 7 years because that's the life. 7 or 8 years.
About a year.
About 8 years left of life on that field. So it's critical that we get that expansion so that we can pay off $27 million in debt
I see.
on those bonds that were taken out years ago because of fields for closures, for expansion, things like that. That's where the concern is.
Where does the Lycoming thing come into that? I even forgot to bring that up. I mean, spending money on that with low bar construction, well, I said a name again, sorry.
That was it. That was something we had settled at. It was probably what, about 13 years, Chris, in the making.
That was just an ongoing.
And it was an ongoing thing, but
Me-
the county was able to settle that and get that result in our favor. So that's a good thing.
All right. Well, like I say, I've been away. I'm gonna start coming back and try to get involved a little bit again, but I hope I wasn't out of line.
No, you weren't. Thank
I'm
you.
sure I upset someone, but that's just how it is.
Thank you,
And
Tom.
Mr. Larry, if I can make a couple
Oh,
comments.
yep, I'm sorry.
So when I came on board, Commissioner Metzger asked if I would be the commissioner who would oversee the landfill. Obviously, at that time, I knew nothing about the landfill, so it took me a couple of years as we dug into things. A couple of things that the three of us learned quickly was all the money's all rolled together. That's one of the first steps we took, was to separate it out so that things like may have happened in the past of golf courts being bought, water slides being bought, whatever might have been bought on RMS numbers in the past
Big green machine.
will not happen today because the accounts are separate. That was one of the first things we did to clean that up. You made the comment, the final decisions were made by commissioners, and I agree with you 100% on that. The problem is when the commissioners are making decisions based upon information that wasn't necessarily the truth, made it very difficult for the commissioners to make those decisions. As for previous directors, and I think they go further back than just the past previous director. But I know that Commissioner Messina and myself went over and addressed the latest director, saying that we needed to make changes. Basically, his response was we did not need to, and he chose to retire the very next day. That put us in the position of looking for that position. We've been looking for about a year to fill that position and have no qualified candidates, which is why we made the decision of the management
The
company.
manager's not here. He's not even here anymore.
No, the previous director retired.
Well, the name I mentioned.
The name you mentioned retired a year ago.
Oh, well, I didn't know. I thought he was still here.
So he's not
That's
as,
how much I.
right, so he's not, we're not utilizing him as a scapegoat. He made the decision to retire, which is fine. But that also told me he made the decision to not change and move forward, which the land, I mean, I think to your point, the landfill needs some change in direction because it can be a profitable entity. It just has not been operating that way, and that's the changes that we're trying to make.
If it's gonna be a business, you have to operate it like a business.
Which is why we separated the accounts right from the beginning.
You know.
So you could see that account day to day, every dollar that came in and every dollar that went out, because the waters were so muddied. I don't know how the previous commissioners, and I'm not taking a shot at any of them, I don't know how they made decisions when the water was so muddy, they couldn't see what was really going on.
Yeah, the question is though, who muddies the water and who's gonna have enough guts to stand up there and say, oh, I was the one? Nobody. That's the thing though, see? Everybody wants to put blame on everybody else and just let everybody else hang. Well, they walk away with the millions of dollars in their pocket.
Well,
And the three of us, all we can do is move forward. And I hate to say it this way, but we had to put those muddied waters and those errors in the rearview mirror. Because we got to see it going forward and make decisions that are right for the county to fix what we deemed as a problem.
And that's what I was going to say, just to repeat what Mark just said. Our job, as you said, this stuff happened before we got here. And our job isn't to go back through and figure out who did this and who is to blame. And we've just kind of analyzed what we have and how should we best move forward. And one of the first things, as Mark said, is when we looked and we asked, can we see this account? And they said, there isn't an account. It's just all jumbled together. So then we got it separated so we could have a main account. And we didn't ask who decided this or why was it, that's the blame game doesn't really get us anywhere.
Somebody should pay. I mean,
It's
criminal breaks the law, they have to pay. And I've said this before. We always give credit to county employees when they do great. But whenever they cost us millions of dollars, we never hear them publicly ridiculed, why don't you bring him in here and stick him up? Say, hey, this guy cost us $1 million. Now we're gonna fire him. I think that's fair.
I wish it was,
You know?
could do the fair thing, but unfortunately legally we can't do that.
You know, I mean, that's probably why I'm not a commissioner.
And, you know, I'll just touch on that real quick, Mr. Lowry, because, you know, what I find is interesting, they didn't really do anything wrong. But you made the comments too. We bought an $800,000 piece of equipment. Was there a $400,000?
Yeah.
We spent $15,000 to go pick it up ourselves.
And the commissioner was in the trucking business himself. He knew exactly what I was talking.
But was the commissioner told, this is gonna cost us overtime and therefore it's cheaper to do it the other way? So we don't know what those conversations were that made those commissioners make the decisions. So, and again, my personal opinion, nothing was done wrong per se when you do that. You just bought the Cadillac when you only needed a Chevy.
Right.
We did that all day long.
Yes, that's, you know, it's,
Why is it always the Chevy? It's always a
They
Chevy.
always take the Chevy.
They always take a shot at
So
the
they say
Chevy.
the Hyundai, we could have bought a Hyundai.
That's what-
I mean, I try not to chop on these businesses and stuff, but, you know, when you can buy a piece of equipment that does exactly the same thing, that's 20 miles from Williamsport, that's $200,000 or $300,000 less than the same exact machine that is 100 miles in Harrisburg, just because of the name. And, you know, I think that's stupidity. And it's, if I went bankrupt for $250,000. So believe me, I know what it's like. And that's why I get like I do. You know, you can't pinch pennies. And that's what it takes, you know, giving pens out. Oh, we're only 50 pens. Oh, take the whole box. Well, that costs money. That costs the taxpayers money, you know, that kind of stuff.
And if you follow some of our meetings, you'll know that a lot of those giveaway things that were going on, we stopped too here.
Yeah, we stopped.
Yeah,
They were-
that's,
they
I
were
mean,
giving-
that stuff, that
they were giving
costs
away-
money.
They were giving away water to the haulers. bottles of
Water jugs, I see them all the time. Then where you see them, you walk down the street and you see them all along the curb lane, along the high schools where there's deposit for the kids. Says, oh, don't do drugs. Oh, we ain't gonna do drugs, but we ain't gonna drink that, throw this in the garbage either. I'm down.
Thank you for your comments. We do appreciate it.
I think,
Thank you.
yeah, one of the last things I'll say is it was our first year as a board and so we're here 8 months, 9 months, and we got into budget season and they had the bucket of cold water meeting with us, told us how bad our finances were. And so for the last,
Are you the Democrat?
I am the Democrat. And for the last 18 months, we have dug in.
Say that either, Todd.
That's right. I'm just joking. And, you know, we have tried to figure out where we could save and where we were overspending and projecting forward and what we could do with places like the landfill. And kind of that's our responsibility, we think, to the job and to the taxpayers, and to go back through history 5 years and 10 years and 20 years and to say, who did this wrong and who's to blame? We don't have the time, and B, it's not really what the taxpayers hired us to do. Like, it's our job to figure out what we can do today and how we move forward the best.
And Todd, we vote on stuff that's presented to us.
Right, I understand.
we hope
But
it's
I can
accurate.
tell you this much. If someone would come to you guys right now and you would say, hey, this operator owes the county $1 million. And you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say his name because you asked me not to. But he owed $1 million for garbage that he took to the landfill, and the county commissioners, what they did, they excused it. Well, it's okay. Don't worry about the $1 million. Just keep bringing the garbage in. The taxpayers absorbed every bit of that. $1 million the county commissioners just gave away to a garbage hauler. And if anybody's listening out there, they know exactly who I'm talking about. That, we can't have that kind of stuff. You know, that to me that was criminal. I would feel that a county commissioner should be criminally charged to allow that to go on. Okay, but anyways, I'm done with my 3 minutes. But you guys keep talking to me, so I'll keep talking.
Anybody else, public comment? Any online?
Nothing online. I know. I wonder if it's working, second week. I know, we're still live.
Okay.
We're on TV.
Yeah. So we will be adjourned. We've completed our agenda. We'll be adjourned to February 12th. 10 a.m.
Okay, fellas.
Thank you. Thank you.